So it's time to show some love to Project KFC, and I'm going to be doing something that I've been needing to do for quite a while now, and that is paying some close attention to the brakes. Now, thanks to MotorQuip, I'm able to do that today. We have a whole set of discs, pads, and a couple of front brake calipers to go on as well. Now, MotorQuip are a company that specializes in brake components, as you can see right in front of me here, but they also specialize in steering and suspension and filters too. So the great thing about MotorQuip is that they are available from selected manufacturers across the UK. Now let's have a closer look at these brake components. So the fact that these discs have an anti-corrosion coating on them, that is great. It means that your center section of your brake disc will not be rusty. That is one thing that I cannot stand on a car, when this goes rusty. Now I'll just show you exactly what I mean. See how the hub section of the brake disc is rusty on the brake disc that is on my car, and also the outer edge of the brake disc as well. It just doesn't look the best. And let's look at these brake calipers as well. These are brand new units, so not refurbished units like many brake calipers are. They are brand spanking new. Now, if you want to check out MotorQuip, all of the links will be down in that description box below. Check out their website for more information on their products, and while you're at it, give them a follow on Facebook. But now let's get all these parts installed onto the car. Okay, so I have the front of the car up in the air. That's because I'm going to be starting on the front brake. So first of all, I'm just going to remove the wheels. Now, if you're wondering how I've lifted the car up, I've basically just got a jack under the front jacking point, which is on the front subframe. But now with the wheel off, let's start stripping down this brake setup. First thing I like to do then is remove the brake disc retaining screw. It takes a 6mm Allen. So this is either going to come out or it's going to round off. I've hammered it in. It's in there tight. And to bring out the big gun. There we go. That's that screw removed. If you have rounded this off, it's not a big deal. You basically just drill the head off, and then it will just remove them by hand. Next thing I'll do then is remove the retaining clip. There we are. I'm just going to turn the wheel. We can access the slider screws, take off these black caps off the back, them two removed. And it should take a 7mm Allen bit to remove the slide bolts. That's one slide bolt out. That's two slide bolts out. And I'm going to depress the brake caliper piston back into the caliper housing, but before I do that, just need to access the brake fluid reservoir and just release the cap on it, just so that we don't blow any seals. And we'll get a trusty pry bar, install it between the disc and the pad. And it should depress back into the caliper then. We don't actually need to do it all the way because we have new calipers to go on the front, so just enough so we can remove the caliper. Let's have a look at these pads. Yeah, really not much meat on them, is there? Maybe 1,000 miles or two. But these brakes haven't been performing like they should. Yeah, definitely could do with a change. And I'm actually going to swap the caliper itself out now. To do that, basically just need to take a 14mm spanner and then release the brake hose off of it. There we go. And basically just wind the caliper off. There we are. Get our new caliper ready. This has an R in it, so right side, which is the driver's side here in the UK. Remove the seal, line it up with the brake hose, and then wind it on. Now you may be wondering, why have I installed the caliper first before replacing the brake disc? That's because obviously you're going to have some brake fluid dripping from here. Well, I'd rather it drip on the old disc, not the new disc. Obviously I'm going to clean everything down anyway, but it just saves getting brake fluid on our new braking components. So I'll tighten this hose down, there we are. We can then hang this up on a handy hook, hang it up just on the spring there, out of the way. Tension is off of that brake hose. We can get the caliper bracket removed, just 2 bolts on the back there. So these 2 caliper bracket bolts take an 80mm socket. There's one removed. There's 2 removed. That's the caliper bracket removed. Obviously we need to reuse this, so I'm going to give it a good clean up. But now we should be able to remove the disc itself. And there we are. Yeah, it is a decent lip on these, so we're definitely due for a change. There we go then, that's the caliper bracket. Nice and cleaned up. I'm also going to do the same to the hub as well. Now I'm just going to apply the tiniest amount of copper grease to the hub, just to help out whoever changes these brake discs next. Probably be me. Saves the disc seizing to the hub. Don't need to go crazy. Just a very light smear. And now we can get our shiny new brake disc. Now, if your discs are coated like these ones are, then you do not need to spray them down. They shouldn't be covered in oil. If they are not coated, then you'll probably have to spray them down with some brake cleaner just to get that oil off. The only reason that they come with oil from factory generally is to stop them from rusting. Obviously these have an anti-corrosion coating on anyway, so no need to do that with these. Get our disc lined up. And we'll also get our disc securing screw, again with a little bit of copper grease on there. Just thinking for the future. We'll get that tightened down. And we'll just clean our fingerprints off. And we can get the caliper bracket reinstalled with those 2 18mm hex bolts. Now we can get our new front brake pads, and we have some brake pad fitting compound as well, which I've just applied a small amount to the ends of the brake pads just to keep it sliding nicely in that caliper. This pad will go onto the caliper bracket like so, and this one will go into the caliper itself. It should go in like this. There we are, that's that pad installed. This should then slide into the caliper bracket. Now we can get our slider bolts installed, which I'm also going to apply a small amount of grease to. Now I can get them screwed into position. Now all that's left is to reinstall the securing clip at the front. And there we are. So with one side now done, Time to do the exact same on the other side. And just like that, that is that side done as well. So that is both of the fronts now complete. And now we can get started on the rears. Again, we'll start off with getting the brake disc securing screw removed. I get the securing clip removed. And it's the caliper slide bolts. Take the caps off. And you can wind the piston back in. Just push against the pad. I should be able to lift the caliper off. We are reusing these rear calipers. I don't have a replacement for these. Let's get the pads out of the way. And also the brake pad wear sensor, which has not triggered, so we can just reuse that again. And just put the caliper up out of the way. And now for the caliper brackets, held in by two 16mm hex bolts this time, slightly smaller than the ones on the front. And now should be able to get the disc removed. Make sure the parking brake is off, of course. There we go, that's the disc removed. Parking brake shoes look absolutely fine, plenty of meat still left on them, but we will give things a good clean up. They look quite new actually. I'd say they've been replaced not long ago. Give the hub a good clean up as well. And again, we'll just apply a small amount of copper grease to that hub face before getting our new disc installed and secured in place with that securing screw. And after cleaning up the caliper bracket, I can now get this reinstalled. And now let's get the new pads dropped in. So that one there goes on the front. And this one, of course, goes in the caliper. Again, just applied a small amount of grease to the ends of the pads. And also to the slide pins as well. I've already cleaned them up and installed them into the caliper. And it's just the securing clip left to install. And with this side complete, I also went ahead and done the exact same on the other side as well. And that should now be all four corners swapped out. And all that's left to do now is a brake fluid flush, because we should now have air in the system. Obviously we swapped out the front calipers, so just going to do a full brake fluid flush, probably put through about 1 litre of fluid, and then we can wrap things up. So then, with a full brake fluid flush now done, as well as another job done on this car. Front discs, rear discs, front pads, rear pads, and also the two front calipers as well. As far as braking is concerned, we should now be good for the foreseeable future. Once again, make sure you do check out Motorgrip. All of the links, of course, are down in that description box below. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember to give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one.